Let's circle back a few weeks to the program where we looked at ways to incorporate reflective practice into a large enrollment course. What happens after you're holding those 200-plus index cards or reviewing Poll Everywhere responses online, and you're sitting there after midnight asking yourself, what was I thinking? I can't possibly respond to all of these. That's the bottleneck. Reading and processing those reflections without that one task eating up your entire week. Well, I'm here to help. Today we'll cover 3 ways to lighten the load and one possible move that might make that large stack of reflections just a bit easier to handle. Hello again, everyone. I'm Stokes Schwartz, and welcome back to the Collaborative Cafe. Okay, here's the most practical and easy way forward. Stop grading everything. Require the reflection from everyone, but read only 15 or 20 each week. Rotate who gets picked. Students won't know in advance whose reflection gets read, so the accountability holds. But the time and effort required on your part is much less. Here's another way to approach that stack of reflections. Shift from weekly grading to a checkpoint portfolio. Have your students keep every reflection in one running document, a folder, or even an old-fashioned spiral notebook. Remember those? But you don't collect it every week of the course. Instead, read it 2 or 3 times a term at natural pause points. The student writing habit happens weekly, or it should, but your grading doesn't. A trickier third method is to organize reflections into rough theme buckets. Skim for patterns here. These could be confusion, confidence, connection, or even boredom. You're mapping the room, though, rather than evaluating individual responses. But doing that by hand probably involves a weekend afternoon, at least. So what do? Well, there is a way to tackle that thorny task, but it might be a little bit controversial, so hear me out. Consider anonymizing a bunch of reflections, drop them into an AI tool, and ask it to identify the 2 or 3 most common themes, areas of confusion, recurring aha moments, or maybe where students feel stuck. Then, respond to the patterns in a 2-minute "Here's what I'm hearing from you" recap at the start of your next meeting, rather than wading through 200-plus reflections each week. I'm reminded here of my English composition professor, Dr. L, back in community college over 30 years ago. She taught a 4-4 course load every semester and had her students write reflections. Often. I don't know how she did it. Returning to the present, though, turning reflection into a feedback loop with the help of artificial intelligence, rather than a grading task, becomes a step that can benefit the whole room. Give it some thought. One caveat, though, should you opt for that 4th step. Mention to your students beforehand that anonymized excerpts might pass through an AI tool. In addition, be sure to check your institution's data handling policy before you move forward with this step. It might not be practical for everyone. To recap then, 1. Read a few reflections instead of everything. 2. Check reflections at key points instead of weekly grading. 3. Identify generalities. And 4. Consider enlisting AI to help you identify recurring themes, which enables you to respond to the room at large. When your students hear their reflection echoed back to them, they'll realize that someone is listening, even in a large enrollment course, potentially turning compliance into real engagement. And that will make them feel more like partners in the course, fostering that all-important community of inquiry that we're after. Next time, we'll look at how you can avoid excluding students with the kind of reflective learning approach we've been exploring together. Talk to you then.